Hello fellow YouTubers, Trouble8385 here with the Pickups video. So in today's Pickups video, a disc replay in Decatur, Illinois, my wife went there. I got pickups from there. I got pickups finally from that Bob's and Bay new game store in town that I've been saying I was going to go to on Twitter forever, and then my local pawn shop. Now let's start off with the disc replay in Decatur. My wife goes down there every so often to have lunch with a friend, and so she finally went down to that disc replay to check out what's there, and she was on the phone with me ironically the whole time. Now, they didn't have any Genesis games like I was hoping, because I want more Genesis games than PlayStation 1 games right now. But anyway, they did have some cool games. The first game she got there was a game that I beat and played when when it originally came out. That was Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link. This cartridge has seen better days. It's slightly faded, got some junk on it and some scratches. But it's what do you want for $3? It works. That's all that matters. And I'm amazed they never made a Zelda 3, to be honest with you. But I remember me and my best friend growing up had the old Nintendo Powers with parts and strategies to the game, and we had that next to us as we played this game on the old NES Advantage. Really cool to have this game again. So the rest of the games we picked up were PlayStation 1 games. The first one I picked up was Gex. I originally owned this on my 3DO system when I had it in the 90s, and I actually enjoyed this game. Though there are other games I enjoyed more in the 3DO, and it was cool to have it back to play it again and see how my opinions changed on a game. Next up, a game I actually really enjoyed on the PlayStation 1, and that is Point Blank, which of course there was originally Point Blank 1, 2, and 3 originally released on the PlayStation 1. And this is just a fun little shooter mini game collection. Really loved this game. A lot of fun. Me and my wife had a lot of fun with this game back when it originally came out. And then I picked up Nuclear Strike, another one of the Strike Helicopter series by Electronic Arts. I just like these games, these old helicopter shmup games, so that's really cool. But the last game is probably the one that has most memories for us. This is an RPG on the PlayStation 1, Legend of, you might call it Legaia, whatever you may pronounce it. My wife bought this one brand new when it came out. And I remember this game vividly because she bought this game right before she went on vacation for a week from work. And that whole week, the only thing she did was, beginning of the day to end the game, play that game over and over and over again. And the last day of her vacation, she beat that game. And I remember sitting there watching her play this game. Really a cool. It's got a combat style, based on fighting games in it and stuff. It's a really cool game. Paid $20 for it. I mean, any RPG on the PlayStation 1, they're getting expensive these days, to be honest with you. Like Xenogears, a game I'd love to have again on the PlayStation 1. I know that's really expensive, but it was really cool to find this game. The discs are not a scratch on them, and it's really cool to have this again. I know she's looking into actually playing that again. So, next up, I went to that local video game store, the new one I was talking about in other videos. About a month ago, my wife had ran into the guy in the garage sale, and he gave her a card if I wanted to sell him any extra systems I had. So we went there yesterday, and I walk in the door, and they have books, they have movies, they have a bunch of older things. They have the Rock and Sock robots from the 80s, the original 80s version of it, and all this stuff. A little mini old pinball, little small pinball games, and all this stuff is in perfectly clean, perfect condition. Like for books, for example, they had the 4 books that originally came out right after the Gremlins movies with Gizmo and stuff in it. They had them $20 a piece. On the wall, they have records too, and they had the Muppet Show record from the original show and stuff like that. So I walk over to the video game section, and their range is from the DS, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox 360, all the way down to the Intellivision, ColecoVision, and the Atari 2600. Now, the first thing that blew me away about this place was they had a sealed copy of the original pole position for the Atari 2600 for $42. And no, I did not have that much money in my budget to go spending, so I did not pick that up, even though I may at some point. They did have they had Skiing for the 2600 boxed, and these games they have boxed are almost all of them are complete. They had Mario Kart for the Gameboy Advanced, among other things. They had City City Connect for the NES boxed, Captain Starhawk, just a bunch of different Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES boxed. But what I did pick up for the Game Boy Advance, since I've talked about how much I love Shining Force 2 on the Genesis, they had Shining Soul for the Game Boy Advanced, which was released over here by Atlas. You know, this game was obviously made by Sega. I paid $12 for it's complete. It was really cool to find this, though I was torn because they did have Adventure Island 3 boxed on the NES complete for $19, and I almost picked that game up, but I picked this one up instead. And my wife suggested I pick this one up because my son's a big Sonic fan. Sonic 3D Blast. It's just the box, the cardboard sleeve, and the game itself. But really cool to have this. It was only $4. And then the last game I picked up there for my NES, Adventure Island 2. This thing is boxed incomplete. The box not complete. It's the game itself. Sorry. So that was really cool to find this game there. Again, I only paid $5 for Adventure Island 2 boxed. So the guy had asked me, funny thing is, the guy in that store had asked me what system do I have, and I said everything, because most people who sell games only think of the Sega systems, the Nintendo systems, the Sony and Microsoft. They don't think of the 3DOs or anything like that. And it's funny because a couple people near the counter just looked at me like, why do you have that many systems? But the guy said he had a lot of games he haven't had out yet, and he said to give him a list. If he finds, he'll call me. So I am definitely going to be going back there again. He has a lot of great, especially box, because a lot of the games he had I've never seen in the wild at that store, so that's really cool. So to end that day off, we went to my pawn shop that I go from time to time, and I did pick up a couple of games. The first game I picked up, because I'm a big Turok fan, Turok Evolution on the Gamecube. Really cool to have that game. I picked up Dynasty Warriors 2 on the PlayStation 2. Ironically, in my pawn shop, the quality of their PlayStation 2 games and PlayStation 1 games are getting worse and worse, because most of them were scratched up. Like, they had Rayman on the PlayStation 1, and it had a deep scratch that I would never get out of it. So, but anyway, I picked this one up. Really cool. I did get one PlayStation 1 game there. Ironically, it says $2.95, which is what I paid for it. And this is, of course, Ridge Racer Type 4. And what's cool about this is, of course, it has, you know, the game disc and the instruction booklet, and then in the back you have the bonus turbo mode disc. So really cool to have. I own this. My wife had mentioned, didn't we used to own this? And I go, yes, we did. So I had to pick that up. And then the last two games I picked up was a Death Junior 2 for Root of Evil for the PSP. Because I love Twisted Metal Head on the PSP. Actually, they've had this for a while. I've just finally got around to actually picking that up. The other cool thing about that new store I was talking about, the Bob's and Bay store, was they actually encourage you to actually open up, like, for example, let's take example, the Shining Soul. They actually encourage you to, there's no problem with me, opening up the box, making sure the game's inside, and, you know, everything that I want, that everything I want's inside. So that was really cool. So guys, that's all the pickups video for now. So I'll make another video.